Yes, I'm here with the author of Life of an Artist, Franklyn V.E. Seals, author John Dawsonville. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yes, thank you for taking the time to speak to us this evening. And
Thank you for calling on me.
yes, I'm calling on you. Yes. So, basically, how are you doing, by the way? How are your day going so far?
Well, the day has been doing as well as expected.
That's positive.
Very much at ease at home and relaxing and enjoying life.
When I grow up, I want to be like you.
Well, my friend, I paid my dues. So now I can really enjoy life as it was intended to.
Nature's flavors that nature's intended.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we're here to talk about Life of an Artist, and what I wanted to do is find out initially what was the inspiration behind doing a book on Mr. Franklyn Seals.
It came about as a result of the fact that my brother-in-law died exactly 21 years ago, but we started the project a year ago. And I think it was the right time to put down on paper the memories of and accomplishments of Franklyn Seals.
Yes.
Who was a remarkable young man. And the more I study about his background, his upbringing, I was fascinated by what I discovered.
Wow, yes. I mean, the book is very telling. And it really gives you a nice, a very nice descriptive storyline of his path and so on.
Well, I hope the readers can appreciate the talent of Franklyn, who I discovered that it was a talent given to him at birth, literally.
Yes.
Because of his humble beginnings. Growing up in a village in St. Vincent with no one to teach him or to guide him. And it was almost a divine intervention that allowed him to grow and to be inspired.
Yes.
To follow his dreams. Because I discovered he was a young man who did not accept any form of negativity. He was focused on what he wanted to accomplish. And what is remarkable is that this is a talent that was discovered when he was maybe 3-4 years old.
Wow.
He was unlike any of his peers. Most of them would look at him and say, hey, he must be crazy. How can he really dream of things that no one else thought about? But he eventually proved them wrong.
Wow.
And those who believed in him were better off for it.
Yes. What was your interaction with him like? Did you have a little chance to interact with him while he was alive?
That is a very good question. I'll tell you why. Because he's an artist. He was so focused on what he wanted to accomplish in his life, in his short but incredible life, that he had very little time for the family or those of us who were closest to him. What I mean is, I married his sister.
Yes.
And from the time that he arrived in the country, he was about 17 years old. He lived with his mother and other siblings, but we rarely saw him. We rarely had any interaction that would say, well, let's sit down and talk things over. Because he was so busy finding himself and assimilating the culture that he was thrust into. So I can honestly say that I saw him from afar. I observed him from afar. He was a wonderful man. There's no question about that. He was a loving type of chap. But I respected the space that he kept between us. If he called our house to speak to his sister or to our daughter, Natasha was his favorite, one of his favorite nieces, I would say. I don't want anybody to be jealous. But the little time we spent together was, I must say, very precious.
Okay. Yeah, and you actually see how precious it was, being that he's not here anymore. So now it's really like a surreal type of a experience.
Yes, now I relieved his life through the book. Because what I discovered speaking to his brothers and sisters was something I never suspected. Of course, we wonder how in the world a young man like him, coming from a little island called St. Vincent, would eventually arrive in the United States and win a scholarship to attend Juilliard, which is a world-famous school.
Yes.
Graduated from Juilliard, became a Shakespearean actor, playing with known actors, James Earl Jones, and very famous actors that we all know who are household names.
Yes.
And that was his dream. He had to make something out of himself. He knew that he was given a gift that he had to develop. And he did. He became a Shakespearean actor, and he played the Trial of the Moke, which is the story of Lieutenant Flipper, the first graduate of that school in New York. All of a sudden, I'm forgetting the name of the school.
That's all right. It's in the book.
Military school in New York.
Yes.
West Point.
Okay.
Of course, he's the first black to have graduated from that school, and he played that role. And the remarkable thing about Franklyn, he has such a strong resemblance to the actual character, Lieutenant Flipper.
Okay.
So he was destined to play that role. After that, he was discovered by Hollywood. He went to Hollywood to play in The Onion Fields, which is a wonderful movie played with James Woods, the well-known actor James Woods.
Yes.
And he was one of the two main characters in that movie.
And I think Ted Danson was sort of like up and coming around that time.
Exactly, Ted Danson and John Savage.
Yes.
By the way, I must say, in The Trial of the Moke, he played, the characters that played with him in the background were two well-known actors, became well-known actors. Howard Rollins, the late Howard Rollins, and also Samuel Jackson, of all people. He was in that movie. And Alfred Woodard was also in that movie.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, not the movie, but it was a play called Trial of the Moke, who was shown on television.
So he rubbed shoulders with the top of the line actors presently.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. When he went to Juilliard, his roommate was Robin Williams, world-famous Robin Williams.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So he rubbed with some very famous actors that became household names.
So tell me something. What was it like actually, getting the information from the siblings and, like at one of the, while I read the book, one of the interesting characters for me was Miss Leslie, who who was the nanny, taking care of them, with cooking and I like how you phrase her sayings in dialect, in broken English.
Yes,
So,
Leslie, I discovered, was not only a nanny, but she was a surrogate mother for those 5 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
She was a remarkable woman who loved those kids as if they were her own. She was never married. She was a spinster. She worked for the Seals family from the time she was very young. And she taught them about life. And what I discovered also is that those kids loved her like their own mother.
Yes,
In fact, when Leslie died years later, all of them were in New York at the time. And they all flew to St. Vincent to her funeral.
Wow.
And I wondered, why in the world would they do that? She was, I said, just a nanny. But she was more than that. I discovered that she was a surrogate mother to them.
Yes.
She was part of their lives. She played a very big role in their upbringing.
Yes.
So Leslie indeed was a pivotal person in their upbringing. And that's why we dedicated the book to her. Leslie.
Yes.
Good woman. Incredible lady.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about his paintings.
Yes.
Around what age did he start actually doing the? Are these paintings on canvas? Are these canvas type paintings?
Yes, they are. Absolutely, they are. We have a couple of them that he gave us when he returned from California. But most of them were given to one of his sisters. And he started painting from the time. He showed a talent when he was maybe 5, 6 years old.
Yes.
At the time, he was painting all over the house. We stand in the book that the walls in the house were his canvas. And to keep him quiet, the mother would give him a piece of paper and crayons, and he was happy. And this is something, again, a talent that it was given to him very early on in life. And his paintings are quite remarkable. To see them is to say, wow, it's amazing how he can draw figures that, frankly, very few of us can imagine.
Yes. I see the book has a few depicted in here. A couple of the, and I mean it's remarkable. It's not amateurish type painting here. It's really
definitely not.
Really
definitely
artistic.
Not. You can see the Pablo Picasso influence in his paintings.
Yes.
I'm not the kind of critic that can describe to you what they represent, but all I can tell you, it has a visual effect that you can tell they come from the grand masters, such as Pablo Picasso.
Yes, he. I mean, it's the guy was the guy. It was really, really amazing. Did you do any sort of research in terms of outside of the family, like maybe villagers, people that grew up around him in the village that may not have been related?
Yes, absolutely. I have spoken to some of his friends, not necessarily relatives, but friends who knew him at the time, and their story parallel what the family knew of him. They all remember Franklyn as being an extraordinary young fellow who was always a leader. In fact, one of his older brother, tried to to lead Franklyn, but Franklyn did not accept any direction from him. He was the leader. In everything that he did, he was always the leader. Big brother would follow whatever he said or whatever he intended to do. He was the inspiration for everyone in the village. everyone knew who Franklyn Seals was, and he's the one that everyone wanted to emulate.
Okay. When he I read somewhere he intended to study at Pratt Institute.
Yes, that was his intention, but by simple coincidence, he was asked by a girl who was a student at the school to accompany him at an audition she had at Juilliard. In fact, for John Houseman, the world-known actor and producer. And they had to rehearse a scene and present it to Mr. Houseman. And Mr. Houseman asked him, "Are you here also for the audition?" He said, "No, I'm here to do a scene with my friend. She's the one who's applying for the job or admission at the school." He said, "Okay. Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, I'm just here." And they went on and put on a scene for Mr. Houseman.
Wow.
After it was all over, Mr. Houseman called him into his office and told him, "How would you like to come attend Juilliard?" Of course, I described the interview in the book, where he said, "Well, sir, I don't think my family can afford to send me to Juilliard." And Mr. Houseman replied, "Well, I did ask you if you can afford or not. I want to offer you a scholarship to Juilliard." Well, the rest is history.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the friend that he accompanied never got her scholarship or never was admitted at the school, but he was.
Wow.
So his plans of going to that other school was an afterthought after that.
Yes. So that audition was actually for him.
Yeah, well, it was in the stars, so to speak.
Yes.
But it was purely by accident it happened, but it did. It was very serendipitous.
It's just amazing how this story how it unfolds. Before we run away, what is the thing you would like people to actually take away with them when they experience the book?
Yeah, well, that's a very interesting question you asked, because Franklyn was the first and only Vincentian to have attended Juilliard and graduated from Juilliard. So I would like to offer this to young people of St. Vincent and the Caribbean to understand that regardless of your circumstances, your upbringing, your life, there's nothing that cannot be accomplished if you decide, or if you have that dream that you want to make it someday in the entertainment world. Because Franklyn, by all indications, could not have possibly be a graduate of Juilliard, but for the dream he had and the talent he received from what I understand, from what I believe, from birth. And he did not ignore, he worked hard at it and became very successful in his field. For us, we have videotapes of his performances. They're all in CDs, such as The Trial of the Moke, and a series that he appeared on television called Silver Spoons, with the young Ricky Schroeder. He played a memorable role in that television series. He also appeared in Amen.
Yes.
So he had a long career, relatively long because he died quite young. But he accomplished quite a bit within the short time he was allocated.
You know, while I was doing some research, there's a movie, an old movie that I liked. I see it once in a while. Sometimes it comes on TV. It's Southern Comfort.
Yes.
And I didn't even know he was. Yes, he was in that. That was a really.
It was.
Yes.
Shot in Louisiana, in the swamp of Louisiana.
Yeah, man. That's
where he was. He was one of the main characters in that movie.
Yes. That was.
Other well-known actors. Can't recall the names at this time, but they're well-known.
That is a
hear
pretty.
Their names, you know who they are. Oh yeah, one was Carradine. Powers Booth was another one who played in that movie. So young Franklyn was one of them.
One of them, yeah. That so while I was doing the research, I saw that that movie. I said, oh, he was in this one too,
Yeah.
But I do remember him on the
minor roles in Star Trek as well.
Okay. Yeah. But I do remember him in the A-Man. On the A-Man sitcom. I remember his his character in there. So this is really inspirational book. One of the things I wanted to find out, because I did some spot reading on the book. I haven't really absorbed everything yet, but I'm still reading. I noticed there was a little bit on the spiritual side in terms of his willingness to be an altar boy. You had that early in the book. And,
well, he was an altar boy.
Yes, he was an altar boy.
When he was growing up in St. Vincent, that's where he started as an altar boy.
Yes.
He loved playing that role. He wanted to be close to the church. And he enjoyed that role, and I think that inspired him to act out before the congregation.
Wow.
And indeed, that was one of his teaching moments to play before an audience of people later on in life.
So in the close to the evening of his life, I read here and there was like he had sort of like a different view spiritually at that time.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Of course, as he became more mature, he unfortunately turned his back. He gave his back to the church. However, later in life, when he was in the sunset of his life, he returned to the church.
Okay.
He drew inspiration from the Word. And like all of us, we need that.
Yes.
At one time or another.
Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting. It's almost like a Solomon type of a storyline there. But I definitely endorse the book. I think it's inspirational, especially for folks from the West Indian experience. It's really good to see someone come out of the sort of like break the code or crack the code. Like Reggie likes to tell me, we got to crack the code, So
yes, his brother Reg.
Yes, so he cracked the code and gets to Juilliard, and he gets to Hollywood. He plays alongside some really major people. You look at the average, West Indian people, hard-working people. It's good to see once in a while that someone was able to dream and actually achieve, you know what I mean? Achieve that dream without having to actually substitute it with a backup plan. You know what I mean?
Of course, exactly.
Yes.
He had tunnel vision.
Yes.
And
yes.
that dream, that the goal he set from the time he was very young, he knew that without a doubt that he would accomplish that dream.
Mm-hmm.
It became real.
Yes.
And
yes.
Those of us who knew him, and I can say that our lives were enriched by his. We all cherish him. We cherish his memory. And I'm sure that those who did not know him will find inspiration from the life this young man led.
Okay. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd want to mention about the book in any way?
Well, they can contact me for a signed copy of the book. They can go to www.dorsonvillebooks.com.
Okay. And I'll put that up on the website and on the YouTube link as well, so they can get the information. Well, thank you, Mr. Dawsonville.
Thank you, Mr. Archer.
And I thought we had a really great conversation here. And I really hope that those listening would tune in and get this book and be inspired.
All right, that's our goal. That's our dream.
Yes.
He would have made a contribution to those who came after him.
Yes.
Right.
Well, thanks for the time, and thanks for the conversation, and thanks for the interview.
Okay, thank you, Sam.